Hey guys, how's it going?
What's going on? sorry to
things a little early today.
sorry to disappoint you, Jack Black, but it's just me and Aaron tonight.
So if anybody's new to this, what we're doing is answering questions, and we're starting with our Patreon supporters, and they've got a couple questions for us on Patreon. So we're just gonna go there, and hopefully, let's do this here.
Hi, Outdoor Power, Jake, Jack, Greg, Mark, and Jake. 22 WMR 223, whatever that means. Early, generally we start at 8. We plan to start for 8, and then we end up starting at 8:30. But tonight I just want to be home earlier, so we started earlier. So I answered those questions this afternoon. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we'll just answer them here.
I can't answer the one. my neighbor Gary built a shed. That's some impressive work that is sticking together. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
But are there any other questions, or just Matthew's?
Yeah, it just says with the 6.7 Cummins.
Yeah, no, I answered that one too. So.
Okay.
Yeah. So we got Pennsylvania, Poland. Nice. What time is it in Poland? That's like middle of the night. Shouldn't you be in bed? Sarnia, Columbus, Indiana, nice. Alberta. Thanks, James. Manitoba. He's got some time yet. Jarrett, without your guys' video, I wouldn't have been able to fix my truck after rolling it. You're awesome. Yeah, you're welcome. We're glad to help. I have a 77 Chevy with the original 454. I want to hammer down on it. It cuts out like it's so little gas. So the 77, probably your secondaries are plugged. I don't know if it's vacuum secondaries or not, but definitely check those secondaries. Make sure that they're going in the way that they're supposed to. I think before we answer too many more questions, do a little bit of business. We're actually going down to, we finally got the okay from Holly that we're going to be in their classes between the 14th and the 22nd. So that's Bowling Green, Kentucky. We were hoping to take the Audi to a car show in Pennsylvania, but the car show is the 20th to the 21st or something like that. 19th, 20th, and 21st. And then we have to go back to Kentucky for the rest of the Holly training. So I don't think we're going to go to Pennsylvania. I think we're going to go farther south, actually. Is that our calendar? That's your calendar too, right? I'm not that busy, am I? Okay.
Milwaukee here.
Yeah, so
Milwaukee.
We'll be in Milwaukee the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And then Bowling Green, Kentucky is the 13th basically to the 22nd. Yeah. So but we don't have anything between the 17th and the 22nd. So we were thinking about going farther south, and just if anybody's got any access to older trucks that the bodies are in good shape but the trucks are parked or getting ready to scrap or crush, we love to take back some boxes and fenders and doors. Anything F-250 from 99 and up, or any Dodge stuff, any mid-2000s GM boxes. We'd like to stuff a trailer full of stuff. Obviously pay for it and then take it back so we can kind of get a little bit of income, because we're gone for like 10 days where there's no income coming in. So anyway, if you guys know of anything, or you're up to about 5 hours away from Bowling Green, Kentucky, and you know of some good trucks, give us a call. Stefan's looking for a new regular cab for his 2001 Dodge, and he's also looking for a box, I believe. So But anyway, yeah. So what else? There was something else I was going to talk about. The 454 update. We brought that engine out to get looked at, and one of the pistons was in 4 pieces. It gouged the cylinder wall, so that engine is pretty well toast. So, but V&R had another one out of a motorhome that was sitting on the shelf, and they checked the numbers, and it's a higher horsepower one. So I've got it at home. I'm going to throw it on the stand, pull the oil pan off, and see if it's a 4-bolt. If it's a 4-bolt, it's probably higher horsepower. Probably just going to check the bearings on that and probably end up putting that one in. But, yeah. Which Ford is the best Ford? Actually, there was one at the Dunville Auto Wreckers there that I might actually consider buying. I meant to talk to you about that. So,
you're going to buy it for it?
Yeah, maybe. There's we should talk about that one afterwards. Oh, and that's the other thing I was going to say. Yeah, the 29th is Go for Dunes, which is 1 week today. So we're going with the Audi. Andy had a nice regular cab short box 4-wheel drive truck that we did a little bit of driving with, and I parked it and I went to go start it so we could weld the axles together, and wouldn't start for me. So unfortunately we can't take that. We'll see what else he's got in the yard. He wanted to come out tonight so we could hound him, tell us to give some really cool stuff, but it's funny because I know we're gonna get reamed out for bringing too nice of stuff. Yeah. If you can get that regular cab out shipped somehow, even to Bowling Green, Kentucky, we'll pick it up from there. just bring it to the Holly building, and tell them just leave it in the parking lot, somewhere between the 14th and the 22nd. We'll take it home from there. We'll cover the shipping to ship the cab, a free cab from. Can't be that bad. So. 89 Samurai. I had a lot of fun working on those little Samurais and trackers at the last year when we did the Canada's Worst Driver. They love them because they're small, they're easy to drive, they're manual, to teach people to drive manual. Those are great little things. And we'll be doing that again this year, actually. So, hey, you have a 96 regular cab in Columbus. Can you hit us up, Jaron? Is that how you spell it? How do you say it? Sorry if I said it wrong, but Jaron, if you've got one, we'll send us a picture and hit us up at debossgarage@gmail.com. We'd love to chat. Hey, Jack Black, always nice to see you. If you're ever out of work, you know, we'd love to have you on the channel as Stefan's doppelganger. Unfortunately, I don't think you're the real Jack Black, but.
Yeah, Stefan couldn't join us because he's not feeling well.
No, he was hoping to, but yeah, he is human, I guess. My wife Saturn needs some attention, but I've been so busy that it's got 25,000 kilometers since we swapped the engine now, and I need to get an airbag light never came off, and I think it just needs to be reset. And my brakes are squeaking. I actually drove it here on the way here, and the brakes are squeaking a little bit, and I need to just spend a half a day with it. But honestly, I've been so swamped. I've been working pretty well every day for the last 3 weeks, steady, just squeezing away, having longer lunches and breaks with the kids and that. I built them a little playground yesterday, but I need to spend some time on my truck and on my wife's car. Just everybody's problem seems to be more important than the other guy's problem, so it's just got to figure out who we're going to work on, I guess. I don't know. What do I think about the 2.8? Sounds like a good idea. We tried to get one. Eventually we'll get one, but I haven't been able to work on one yet. So I have heard about the vibration problems with the trucks. I don't know what the fix is. I don't know if they've figured that out. Yeah, that sucks. Hey, Dirty Hall from Alberta. What do you like better, the Ontario or Alberta? Always kind of curious about what's going on in Alberta. Your lemon party, eh? Nice to see you, George from Cali. Jake, love your K-car. We got some good ideas with a K-car. So if anybody knows who Steve Smith is, That
Red green.
is red green. I love red green, and actually our highest viewed video is the tailgating video. We made that as kind of a joke. I think red green did do something to that effect a while ago. I think he did put a thermos on the roof, and the boot was kind of my thing, but we're trying to hit him up to see if he'll go grab a coffee with us in the K car, kind of do like a Canadians getting coffees at Timmy's thing. So if anybody knows Steve Smith, tell him to check his email, and we'd love to hear from him. So
that Coke actually has my name on it. It's one of those. Someone found one with my name and gave it to me.
So you can't screw that up, yeah.
But it's sour. I won't drink that now.
Yeah. Vibration at 68 to 73 on an 03 Dodge Cummins. That's you got to just check over your entire steering. The problem is they've got so many different suspension parts under there. They all get a little bit of play, and you pretty much got to replace everything that has any type of play in it at all. So we got Massachusetts. Yeah, red green is the best. It's the only show where you can have a chainsaw running in the background and it fits perfectly, and somehow I fall asleep to that. It's like if I can't sleep, I'll put on some red green. And I've watched half the shows. I've watched all of them, but only half of them because I fall asleep and then forget where I left off. So,
I love that they're putting it back on YouTube and
yeah,
and keeping it alive.
Yeah. So, miss the lakes and the people. You want to move back of coal rolling arrogance. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of testosterone there in Alberta, I can see. So,
Cummins Tech Center.
We'd love to, but it has to, again, check your phone every 10 seconds between the 14th and the 22nd. We'd love to take a tour, but you're kind of before at the very beginning of it and very at the end of it. And I think we're just honestly 10 days is a long time to be away from the family, so we'll probably leave at the last minute and truck it straight there, and then flying back as fast as we can to get back again. We will be driving because we're towing the trailer. So if it works out or somehow we can't make it, we'll give you a call. But it'll more than likely be. I'll check with Stefan whether he wants to leave on Saturday or Sunday, but I think we'll leave on Mother's Day and then we'll just truck it straight back. So, nice. Everyday Fleet Tech. How's it going? Fleet of Cummins. There's nothing better, I guess. So. We actually government surplus there, Beardo. We at the governmentsurplus.ca the odd Zamboni comes up now and again. We're like,
oh yeah,
we should buy a Zamboni.
We've talked about it.
We've actually talked about.
Not LS swap though. I think
well, it's like swap. Okay, well there's a Zamboni. What do we do with it?
Yeah,
it's like we'd love to own a Zamboni, but what do you do with it? Because you got to do something.
Yeah. I guess LS swap makes sense.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, what we need is an actual field and have the right year to have like a crazy ice storm and then actually like have a skating rink and make it nice. But I don't watch Pug's channel. Yeah, the vibration can also be in the U-joints of the front axle. So U-joints is I find the U-joints is more in the seat in your seat, rather than in the steering wheel or in the death pedal at all. Or sorry, the brake pedal. Why did I call it the death pedal? I had death wobble in my head. So.
Well, should we go to Drivetribe?
Sure. Yeah, we'll check out some builds. I told a bunch of people to post their stuff there, and so Drivetribe is kind of everybody's encouragement to share their projects and check out other people's crazy builds. We're not a channel for really buying new vehicles. We're more about building something old and cool. So, what do we got?
this guy just posted up his rides. He's got 2 vehicles here.
A little Mazda. Oh, you bought a gas Dodge? Why would you do that? You got the worst of both worlds.
Eldorado.
Nice.
68 Cadillac Eldorado. A couple before and after pics.
Nice.
So this looks interesting.
Big old boat. Ah, Sarah, there's a nice project for you. What's how does he get that interior clean? Oh, that looks better already. That's before he fired it up because exhaust manifolds were silver. It always looks perfect before you start it.
Yeah.
Stefan, post the MG. Come on, you got progress. It's crazy.
Project my brother and I started 98 GMC K2500. Started out at 6.5.
Nice.
Swapped to 5.9 Cummins in it.
Yeah.
So pop the hood.
Yeah, we.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a nice truck,
Trade
but
it.
yeah, it's Cummins. I swear. Can I join the club?
50.
Nice. A guy from work that I used to work with had that exact truck, same two-tone green. Nice. There we go.
24 valve.
Nice. I think I found a 24 valve. I think we're going to grab the head and put that on the my 12 valve. So I'm excited about that. Just getting the new injection lines and maybe grab some bigger injectors. So that might be happening this week. So.
C30.
Nice.
So this is an update I think he's posted before.
Okay. Right on. Beautiful.
Current first car.
Right on. That's my first car. I'm like, oh, it's pride and joy. I'm gonna sell it. Oh, that first car is supposed to mean something, man.
2 rusty Studebaker trucks.
Right on. Oh yeah, I seen this, and they're welding them together.
I think so.
Right on. So right now I'm trying to. I've got 2 Studebaker trucks. I think the same model. If I can think, the back window looks the same. We've got 2 of the cabs welded together. Another guy did all the welding on it, and I'm just getting the drive line ready. But that project actually started 2 years ago, and this is the first I've seen it since we pulled. If you go back and check out the video on what to look for a diesel, it's one of for when you're buying a diesel. That's the frame that the Studebaker truck cab is going on or is on, but he's got a long way to go. That's for sure. So just kind of picking away at it. When we have enough videos, we'll release them. But that's why it seems like stuff is taking too long. But I kind of figured that was the way this project was going to go. So there's no point in making a video and then making part 2 like 2 years later. So we've got some stuff in the bank. Another careful cab removal video. It's lots of fun.
2-inch lift off-road suspension.
Nice.
Undercoating 87V 10 350.
Ooh. That was a truck like that was the first truck that my dad bought when we were in Canada. Nice looking truck. His was baby blue with a white cap on it, and it was rusted from the day we got it.
What is going on here? My car has SLS and a pump. Keep the factory ride. Line bending.
Nice.
Necessary worry. Keeping the rear suspension factory.
Nice. Working in the driveway with the snow in the middle of a subdivision. I love it. Right on.
Caption for all these.
Nice. Very cool. Do I think electric cars will save hot rods like the tractor did the farm horse? That was worked to death, or will it all just die?
So here's Greg's van.
Oh, sorry. you want to do the cars? I'm just trying to fill time with like empty space. But all right, I'll get back to that one. But Greg's van is on the road.
Yeah, I think so.
It is on the road.
A couple posts here, so first 2,800 miles down after swap. No
Nice.
major issues.
You're lying. Something was wrong. Nobody does that amount of work and had it smooth 2,800 kilometers.
Doing pretty good for 370,000 miles.
6.2.
6.2 motor, but the 6.5 Navistar is soon to replace it after I get it.
Right on. Very cool. So we've been following this build from the start because he's been posting pictures regularly, and it's pretty cool what he's done and the amount of work that he's done on that. Very, very cool. So check his out from the start.
Yeah, he's got another post. He's got a little bit more here. So, a few more pics. Custom CV axle.
Nice. That's some customizing. Nice. Love it. doesn't have to be pretty, it just has to work. It's quite the hump. Nice. Is there tape boss? Why is there no tape boss on that measuring tape? Terrible. Very cool. What else we got?
Sam. 7 years ago, one of 1,000 yellow neon SRT4.
Ouch.
So, yeah. Restoring the car that was only built 15 years ago.
Right on. So your fault with that fender bender or somebody else's?
5.7 Hemi and a 5.9 Durango. 5-speed manual. Nice.
What's he doing? Oh, a Hemi and a Durango? Nice. Yeah, let us know how that goes. I really want to keep up on that one. The Hemi swap. That's really cool. Nice.
Nice.
Don't do anything to that.
6 C10.
Nice. All right. Oh, one other business thing I forgot is we're gonna have a sale on Tape Boss for free shipping in North America. So unfortunately, only in North America because it costs too much to send it to elsewhere. We're working out the details. Maybe I can see if we can just get like $5 off shipping overseas. We'll see if we can work something like that out. This is the first time we're doing it, so we gotta figure out how that all happens. But keep your eye open on when the sale is on Tape Boss. It'll probably be happening this week, somewhere in the middle of the week. So if you use the promo code Measure Once, then it's free shipping to anywhere in North America, and we might have to just charge a couple bucks for shipping to overseas. If I can work that out, I'll do my best. But otherwise, we're going to be losing money to ship it overseas. So hopefully you guys understand. But anyway, everybody in Canada and the States, check out that sale.
Right.
Hoping to
But
move
it's
some.
not. Is it not, like? It doesn't work right now, though, does it?
It's not working right now. It's just because we're doing live chat. So So.
So you want to talk about the GTO?
Yeah, sure. It was a while since we had some time to work on it, but got quite a bit done on it actually, and the about 99% of the welding is done. I got to do a little bit of corners in the front of the rockers to tie it into the firewall there, and I think that's it for the welding. I think one. The center support in the fake hood scoop is missing, which makes me think that somebody cut it out to have a true Ram Air in there, which would have been awesome. The Ram Air option for those cars was a dealer option, so there was no VIN number to actually say that it was a Ram Air car. But if it was if there was some way with pictures or documentation to verify that it was a true Ram Air car, it makes it worth a lot more. But I think I'm going to be welding that piece back in again so it looks like it's a stock, because I don't have a Ram Air, and then we'll go from there. So I don't destroy good Dodges because I don't destroy good Dodges. I destroy bad Dodges that are too far gone to put back in again. And if I could, I'd put every vehicle back on the road and tell people to stop buying new cars, and just keep stuff going forever. But you don't have that choice; they rot away. So when they're rotten, it's just not worth it anymore. And fixing cab mounts is one thing, but as soon as that support rail underneath the floor is gone, there's no point. The floor is gone, the rail is gone, the rockers are gone, and the mounts are gone. So basically, you're just kind of half-assed sitting on a frame. The cab starts leaning against the box, and then that's it. So I'd agree that Le Mans are better than the GTOs, but then we'd both be wrong. So I think there's people that would argue that statement there, including Kelly Blue Book. So yeah, what else?
Well, with the I guess with the Audi, we've still got parts coming in.
Yeah, so
from Holly, right?
Right. So we pulled the clutch apart to take a look at that, and we're fixing that. But I don't have all the parts for Holly yet, and I don't really want to dig into it until everything's there. The tier 1 and 2 training, we're basically taking all 3 tiers of training. So we should be able to figure everything out. They're still not equipped to do exactly what the Audi is set up for, because it's only one set of, like, it's meant to control the wastegates for the main turbos, but we have a wastegates in front of the 2 turbos, and then we have a dual port in front of the 2 turbos, and then we have a single port between the 2 turbos, and they all need to kind of work together. So yeah. If your 12 valve needs exhaust gaskets, get new bolts, because you're going to snap a couple, and then you can get the stainless ones, but you can probably get another 500,000 out of it with the old ones, or just regular Dodge ones. So yeah, so Stefan and I are going to trying to make a road trip out of it, and we're hoping to have a little bit more of a relaxing time, but then make a good video of stripping some trucks, buying some trucks, basically pulling the cabs off and the boxes off, the fenders off, jam a trailer full, and drag it home again. If there is anybody in Bowling Green, Kentucky that knows of a cheap place to stay, or has a cottage or something somewhere that they'd rent out, or even a granny suite downstairs, and you want to hang out or whatever, hit us up. We discussed it with Stefan that if we just end up at some creep's house, we just leave. So so I hope you guys get a pretty good enough feeling from Stefan and I that if you want to hang out for a little bit, then if you got a place for us to crash, we'd prefer that over a hotel, just because we'll get no shortage of hotels in the coming years. That if we got a funner place to stay with some people to get to know, we'd love to do that. Yeah. What was I? I think Stefan's okay with that.
This guy's asking if you see his question.
Yeah, so I have a video on the rear main seal. More than likely it's your rear main seal, but make sure that those little 5/16 bolt like that holds the seal. There's a cloth or a paper gasket between the seal and the block, and then it's got the actual seal in that little housing, and those little bolts like to rattle loose, so it could be leaking from there more than the rear main seal. So take those out and definitely Loctite those in. But it's still, to pull the transmissions, your easiest way to go, and you can do it in about 5-6 hours if you've got a hoist. So thank you, Mark, I appreciate that. Nothing planned to the UK yet, but you never know. And if you ever make it out to Canada, you can hang out. I got a place to sleep too, just in the shop. Sorry. I would be the weird fan. What? Yeah. There's it's hard to figure some people out. You have some conversation with people, and then the conversation kind of goes too long, or you just don't feel right. And I'm like, a couple of people I wouldn't stay with, but so I stayed in a park. Ken stayed in a park in Bowling Green, and the cops beat you. That sucks. How's it going, Austin? Yeah, Mark, we'll keep the videos coming. What we got in the vault? I don't think we have much in the vault. Aaron's going on holidays this week, actually, so he's editing just kind of a recap for the Go for Dunes. I'm sorry, it's the end of the week. I'm tired. Go for Dunes is coming this Sunday, but so he's editing the video for Wednesday that just kind of explains what we're doing and how to meet us there. So stay up on Instagram if you guys can. Just follow us on Instagram, because that's where I post the most, and you'll know where we are, what we're doing, and whatever else. Same with when we're in Bowling Green and wherever else. We'll just Instagram, say, hey, we're gonna go have a beer at this place. If you guys are in the area, we'd love to meet you. And whatever, we'll just move on. And more than likely, if we're taking Stefan's truck, it'll probably break somewhere, so we might need some help. So stay on Instagram. His VP pump is the original, so of all things, I know that's gonna go somewhere. I'm calling it now. I know Stefan is pretty proud of his truck, but if we take his truck, it's gonna leave us on the side of the road. I know. And same with my truck. Probably pushing it with my truck too. So. The pinion seal is leaking on my rear diff. Yeah, you have to take the whole thing apart, unfortunately, because it comes out the other end. So you take your yoke off, there's a nut, you take your yoke off, and then the pinion seal in the front, depends which one it is. The pinion seal, obviously, the first step is to take the yoke off, and you might be able to get at the seal actually that way, now that I see it in my head. So 453 Detroit Ranger build, nice. Is that one on Drivetribe? Stefan, your truck won't make it. We already drove it to Florida, man, and back in one shot. So they seriously billy clubbed you guys. That's terrible. That's funny. Why is there no black people on Deboss? Hey, well that's pretty cool, because I've got lots of black friends actually. But one of our things, it was funny because we were talking to you want to tell them about Studio 71? If you find my personal profile on Facebook, you'll see that I went to Africa a couple times. We've done work down in Africa and Burkina Faso.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, Burkina Faso is one of the poorest countries in the world, and mainly because there is nothing in there. There's nothing to fight over. There's no minerals. There's no ore. There's nothing worth mining for. There's no resources. So it's just donkeys and dogs walking around and sand, and that's it. So we taught mechanics there and construction there at a town called or a little school called the Village of Hope. It has about 500 kids going through elementary school that a pastor named Michelle Wadrego pretty well adopted most of these kids, and he's teaching them the basics and then sending them back out into Burkina, trying to make the place a better place for everyone. So we're hoping to take the channel there once we start bringing in a little bit more income to help support the shop there. They have a fully equipped shop. They're waiting to get hydro there, so we're hoping to pay for the hydro there, and then take the channel down there and just screw around with all the old stuff that we send over there. They dismantle it, they reuse it, they turn it into like they keep everything running. Just the more they get, it's crazy. We needed a starter, and we hopped in a truck. One guy knows another guy. He'll leave his little booth wide open, hop in the truck with us. He's like, I know this guy, he can help you out. And it was such a riot. Like, we don't even get that much done. But but just at the end of the day, or the end of the couple of weeks, it was one of the best vacations I ever had. And it's expensive, the flight wise, and the traveling and all that. But definitely going to take everybody over there. We're hoping to do that in the next couple of years, actually. And we're just trying to build a following, get a little bit of cash, and then do some good there. So most of my friends, the only reason I got Facebook really was to keep in touch with everybody from Village of Hope and what was the other school, the construction school. Maybe if my wife is watching, she might be able to put that up. So yeah, it's not a Christian channel, but we don't hide that we are Christian. We believe that, I don't know, I just kind of always go where I feel like I'm supposed to go. We've been blessed and trying to help some other people. So we work with Ozzy and Truth for Teens. Yeah. So he's doing some good stuff locally. And the main reason that we went to Africa was because the opportunity came up. We didn't have kids yet. And if you all of a sudden have kids in a family, you can't just pack up and go to Africa for a couple of weeks. Now we're doing a lot of local stuff with Ozzy and whatever else we can. And our church actually supports villages more in southern Africa, right? Where's that? So yeah, so our church is the Meeting House. You can check them out. It's kind of a church for people who really aren't into church. About 14,000 members, something like that. But I think between the 14,000, we sponsor about 5,000 kids. I think, or I think that's roughly. You can check me on that. But pretty cool stuff happening, yeah. So, hello from Uruguay. The 3.8 was a good engine. Other than that intake seal, they always go. They all did.
The engine coffee table. No, it did not sell.
So what happened with
it? Sold.
So the problem is we started a new eBay account, and so we have 0 credit. So we posted the table and we did it as pickup only. So as soon as it's sold, it's done. There's no didn't ship it or didn't pay it or whatever.
They don't follow up. They don't like eBay doesn't track anything. It's completely you're on your own. And well, I guess this person in California knew that, so they won, but they didn't want to pay. So there's nothing we can do except eBay considers the sale valid, even though there was no money exchanged. So we got dinged. We got charged.
So it cost us $89 to list the table. So we lost another $89. That the Mercedes hates me. Just there's no winning from the Mercedes. It's like there's nothing. so good 12 valve build info other than YouTube and Threads. Well, you know what? Buy a manual. That's about it, because I'm doing my best. If you can't follow it, then I don't know, man. I can't do any more than what we're doing now, E-Jones. So, what do you think of the Vortec 4.2? What was the 4.2 in? I don't even know. Is a P-pump 24 valve worth it? I think so, because you get the most airflow, but it's still the most reliable. So mechanical injectors and no electronics in that stupid VP pump, because they're a pain. So I'm actually going to look at a 24 valver to see if we can do that to my truck, because I actually kind of want to do it to my truck. So 3126 diesel, it's one of those engines that runs forever because it's kind of a dog, but if it's what I'm thinking, the old V8, right? The best cat, I think, is still the 3406. I had some really good experiences with those. So you put a Daihatsu 1.03 cylinder diesel in an RX-8. You guys would love it. 100 base horsepower, 100 miles per gallon. That's awesome. Put that on Drivetribe. So I think the 4.3. So the 4.3 is an incredible engine. It's got the power of a V6 and the fuel efficiency of a V8, but it lasts forever. So my old boss had a 4.3 in and the 4060 behind it. He towed a 14,000 pound man lift on a 3-axle trailer, so he was probably pulling 16,000 pounds. And he only drove it around locally, but that engine did it, and yet I think he went through 3 transmissions, but yeah, that's pretty funny. The Trailblazer had a 4.2. Oh, nice. If you need to get rid of your 94 12 valve, hit up the Facebook page and put it up for sale there. There's probably lots of guys there that would be interested in it. So nice. How difficult is it, the gasket between the timing case and the block on a 12 valve? Leave it alone or go ahead and tackle it. It's not that bad. You do have to pull your camshaft though, so you gotta pull your rad. The timing cover, if you watch my video rebuilding it, I put the cam in, but then you gotta pull the cam back out again, put the timing cover on, then put the cam back in. So you guys, just so you know that. Oh, 3126 inline 6. What am I thinking? 31. I don't know what I'm thinking. It's been a while. So we built a little mini bike with a big bore kit in it. So I'm not gonna buy a new truck. You mean Vortex 6.0 is a very good torquey engine that lasts forever and takes a beating too. It's better than the 8.1 liter. I had it in the Silverado originally. The only problem with it is that it terrible on fuel, and fuel doesn't seem to be going any cheaper now. So yeah, I know Cummins likes to, or the Roadkill guys really likes to jump on all the ideas that we were kind of aiming for. They love their Cummins builds. All of a sudden, we were talking about driving that little Nissan pickup on 2 wheels, and when we get it out to Toronto Motorsports Park, I still want to do that, but of course they take the vet cart on 2 wheels. LS swap everything. They haven't put 4 turbos on anything yet, but anyway, I would do another. See, I'm getting a lot of questions. So let me start by saying that my year is booked pretty well solid. So I've got enough work to keep me going until the end of the year with paying customers and my own stuff. So I can't really take on any other projects. 3208 cat, that's what I was looking for. Anyway, I have ADD on a large scale. So yes, I'm probably pretty good at swapping the GM with the Cummins now, but it's time to do something else. So what the project that I kind of want to get into is that convertible out back. We'll do the C10 with the LB7 swap. I want to know. So the guy that did the Duramax swap with the Duramax into the Yukon XL, it's on our channel. You can check that out. What was his name?
The Duramax?
Yeah, what was his name? Oh, I forget because I had it wrong on the video too.
I never actually knew his name.
Right, so we got his name wrong on the video because I'm terrible with names. Anyway, he's going to help us with the LB7 unlocking, getting it running under its own power. The body swap is pretty straightforward. We're going to put the tow truck rig in the back. It's going to be a pretty cool truck. The air ride suspension and all that. And then we're talking about another crazy swap with a guy that'll honestly will be one of coolest ones on the internet. But right now, I give that. What percentage would you give that as going ahead? I'm thinking like 20%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking about 20% that it would actually go. But if it doesn't happen with him, we'll end up doing it by ourselves in another 3, 4, 5 years. So, and then after that, I still have that 1948 convertible. I'm thinking that a TDI swap for that would be kind of fun. It's more of a cruiser, and the Cummins are too loud for that. We hit up Cummins for the 2.8 to see if they'd give us a 2.8 for it. Basically saying that if you could swap a little 2.8 into a convertible, you can swap it into anything, like a 40s convertible. But I think they're really aiming for the Jeep guys, and that they didn't really show much interest, and we didn't have 10 grand to buy a motor for. So we can get a TDI pretty cheap. Milwaukee's flying me out to Milwaukee to their tool symposium, so we get to see all the new tools that they're coming out this year. And Charles from Humble Mechanic's going to be there. I'm pretty excited to meet him and get his input on that. What the best way to go about that is, what tranny we should put behind that. Because that one I kind of want to leave an automatic, just a nice cruiser. Basically sandblast the body, like do a cheap matte black paint job on it. Don't fix the top or anything. Get it running and moving and stopping and safety. Get the lights working, and basically just drive it. If it gets caught in the rain, it gets caught in the rain. I'm not spending $2,000 on a convertible top and making it all pretty, because it'll never be a pretty car. I did that with the 48 4-door. I don't ever want to do that again. So, but that one's actually coming back. The 48 4-door is coming back. We got a glove box for it, and the radio is now working, so I'm going to install that. So we'll be driving that one around for a little while. So
Steven says he's still up for coming down.
Hey, Steve.
Late June.
Yeah. July. Oh, late June, early. I was going to email you.
Early July is probably better, because looks like you're away or doing some stuff.
I am. I thought
June.
Oh yeah, what's in June? Oh, that's probably family stuff. Yeah, so July is probably great. We're gonna have awesome stuff for you to do regardless. But I think the C10 will be pretty well in full swing then. So if you have a backup at all, I was thinking about mentioning to you that in September, on the when's Eve of Destruction? In September, so okay, so there's a video out. It's called Humberstone. They do Eve of Destruction, which is 14 events on how to total your car, and it starts with a 75 lap endurance, and then it's like a figure 8 race, a trailer race where you have to have a trailer behind you, and you have to have the tongue and the axle still attached to win. Backwards racing, tying cars together racing, figure 8 racing, and we were hoping to get a couple channels together, and we all kind of build a car from Tuesley at Tuesley's yard the Saturday, and then the Sunday we take it out for a rip there at Humberstone, and basically just have a good old time with all the YouTube channels, and really promote and kind of show what's all involved in getting ready for derbies and that. So if you don't make it out to July or something happens, keep September in the background anyway, or come back if you have a great time in July, then come back out, and otherwise we'll try and head out your way. So yeah. So what schooling do I have for mechanical knowledge? Well, I'm trying to share as much as what's in my head every day as I make a video. I don't know what that means. So
he's asking where you went to school.
Oh, I went to, what schooling do you have? Oh, okay, so I went and did a 9,000 hour apprenticeship, and then we went to school for 2 months at a time, once every year for 3 years. So 6 months total, 6 months total schooling, and then 9,000 hours of hands-on training, and that was at Fanshawe College in London, Ontario. So yeah, Out for Rip, you know that song. I've rebuilt lots of Perkins. The problem with that is they're not really meant for on-road, and it's the injection pumps that are the problem. So check out Shifted Interest. They put a little Kubota in a Ranger, and they've had lots of little issues and stuff with it. It's cool, but it's hard to get a comfortable power curve out of that. especially for the weight, and the injection pumps are meant to go full throttle, kind of stay there. So injectors in an LB7, it's kind of a pain. You got to kind of dig into it. You can do it yourself. Just when do me a favor, when you look at the engine, separate the fuel system from all the vacuum lines and the electronics. Take a picture of kind of each step as you take it out, then just pull the valve covers off. It's not that complicated, and then pull the injectors out, pop them in, make sure it's clean. I got a full video on it. I got kind of a time-lapse video on it, more explaining about the engine, but you can do it if you've got some decent mechanical background, a nice shop to work in, and some decent tools. I don't have any experience with sonic tools. I'm getting some new benches, hopefully in the next month. They were back ordered. We're gonna buy them off of Muddy River Wholesale. So we're gonna try and clean up the shop a little bit and organize a little better. My toolbox from Ultra Pro was falling apart, so we're waiting for Milwaukee to come out with more shipments of their new toolboxes, and then kind of do a video on organizing a shop and what the best tools are to buy as you're starting out and as you're kind of getting into it. Milwaukee sent me those ratcheting wrenches, and I love them, but like I looked up, oh, what's a comparable Snap-on wrench set, and a 7-piece wrench set from Snap-on is like $380 or something like that. And I'm like, don't buy the Snap-on. It's just, they will never pay for themselves again. You're gonna be broke just buying Snap-on stuff. $8,000 for a toolbox? Who does that? Stop it. And it's to me, it's no offense if you guys have Snap-on boxes. It's fine. That's more of a single man's game when you're first starting out. But you don't want to be spending and paying your Snap-on guy for the next 5 years, because you wanted that box just because it's a Snap-on on it. You can buy 5 brand new toolboxes over the course of 80 years that will last a good 15 years for the same price, but you're splitting your payments out with no interest and whatever else. I know they make good stuff, I know they make good boxes, but to me it just doesn't make sense. Same with when I started my shop. I worked out of that shop with no insulation and nothing on the walls, just a concrete floor and 4 bare walls for 2 full winters. It was terrible. It sucked. I had a kerosene heater pointing heat at me, like right in front of me. But that's what you got to do. My mortgage isn't that high because we were able to kind of pay as we go type of thing, rather than having like a massive mortgage all at once and then spending the rest of your life paying it back, right? Same with vehicles. I always drove crap when I was younger because you buy what you can afford. You don't go to a dealership and sign on the line. That's for later in life. If you got a brand new car when you're young, then what's left in life, right? So, no. And that's the price, and that's a good point, Steven, that the Snap-on boxes are great because you can buy them for 1/8 of the cost of new, because it's guys getting out of it. They realize mechanic's not for them, and they're so sick of it they just want to get rid of the box. But they're losing. There's nothing wrong with grabbing a good deal on Craigslist or Kijiji. I feel bad for the guys, but yeah, used is the way to go. That's right. So the guys I worked with had Bosch cordless impacts when I was in construction, the Lukeway construction there. And the last batch, they were really having a hard time with batteries. So I think they switched. I was always a DeWalt guy, but when I got out of the construction, my construction tools were all pretty well worn. I had to start replacing them along with my 16-foot cover trailer. It was getting rough. And then I had a $100,000 shop at home that I figure I better make use of. So I figured I'd start working full-time at home. And I got rid of the last of my construction stuff. But so those DeWalt tools were kind of on their end legs, and I didn't really use the drills that much in the shop. And then now I've got the DeWalt stuff, which really replaced all my air tool stuff. So, and I'm happy with the Milwaukee stuff. I'm excited to see what they're coming out with when we go to their symposium. And But as for the Bosch, all I know is that the other construction guys there were having a little bit of a hard time with the batteries lasting anyway. So right on. It's only been a half hour. It feels like a lot longer.
Yeah. So we've covered a lot of ground.
Yeah. What else was there? There was something else.
You want to talk about the Mercedes?
Yeah, the Mercedes is coming along. I'm picking away at it. I'm doing my absolute best to keep to keep going on that. You guys have to realize though that like everybody wants me to do the swaps, and swaps are fun, which is kind of the way that I wanted to go, but there really isn't any money into it, because the amount of time that it took fabricating and getting everything ready, and then the time to work out all the kinks and stuff. If I had to charge him my full wage, he'd have come and burned my shop down already. So that's partly coming out of my pocket, and we kind of understand that. The RT Baker and the Dodge Dually build were all kind of the same way. I built the Silverado and the Tahoe just for fuel savings, and that kind of pays the bills. But the actual, the real jobs that keep my lights on are the jobs that you guys don't even really see because they're boring. They're brake jobs. I don't do that often brake jobs, but I do the occasional brake jobs. And then I've done a pile of injector changes in the Cummins. I've done those videos already, so I don't see the point in making the videos over and over again. It's just that really pays the bills. Keeping the Cummins running, but it's more the boring stuff. Now somebody has to pay the bill for those swaps, so that's why we started the YouTube channel. If it's not the customers that are paying for the swaps, one, because we we get charged through the nines at the border. All the parts come from the States, so we pay for taxes and the shipping and the brokerage, and then the conversion sucks right now. It's at 0.78. So those projects, I kind of pick away at them as best as I possibly can, but I'd be broke if I did nothing but the swaps. Until the YouTube channel gets big enough and we have some sponsors or something, we're able to build cool stuff, which is really the way I want to go. But to get the money from the customer, it doesn't bring in as much money as I need from like the normal everyday shop stuff. So we did a couple service calls, did some stuff at the at V&R, and then there's also stuff where I'm working on equipment and in the process that they're going to sell it, and we don't post those videos because we get told not to, and it's a customer's choice whether we post the videos or not. Anything that has somebody's stuff in it, they get to see it first, type of thing. It's just that's the way it goes. So we're picking away at the Mercedes, and absolutely will get done. I haven't given up on any projects yet, but it's basically right now I'm just trying to, I'm working day and night. Sundays work today. I got grease on my forehead, I think. Put that tractor back together again. Okay. It's just trying to pick over who really needs it more and try to get it done for them, right? So anyway, Eric's got a 83 GM with a 12 valve NV 4500. I wanted to put an automatic trans in it. What would be the best tranny? I don't even know. Dodge makes terrible transmissions. Put an Allison in it. That'd be the best way. Get a standalone kit for it and an Allison from an LB7. You can generally pick them up pretty quick. So you'll kind of have the cream of the crop with that. It won't be the cheapest, but it'll be the nicest, most envious of builds anyway. Nice. 2,700 mile drive in 4 days. Nice, with a 5.9. Beautiful. Oh, two guys are having a fight on here. That's great. That's awesome. What do I think about teenagers owning diesel trucks? There's nothing wrong with it. If you, I don't know, if you want to buy a diesel, go ahead and buy a diesel. There's nothing wrong with it. They're meant to tow. But
it depends what they're doing with it.
There's nothing wrong with it. There's no difference than teenagers owning Mercedes. I don't know. If you want to do it, go ahead. I'm not going to stop you, but so I'm a 17 and I have a 9 and I'm single. Oh, Oh, I have a single cab Dakota. Mark 32332 there. Yeah, the Dakotas are, you know what? They're cheap and they keep going. Don't worry about it. I don't know what engine you've got in there. My buddy had a little Dakota, but my first truck was an S10. It was cheap. It was a little 2.5 liter iron horse or iron something in there. Great little engine in there. I had that truck for 4 or 5 years. I put 200,000 kilometers on it. I painted it bright yellow. I had it silver at one point. I had a spoiler on it at one point, and it's a cheaper way to go rather than going full size right away. So, Allison Duramax versus Allison Cummins. Allison Cummins. There's nothing wrong with the Duramax. It's just I'm still the guy that tries. So I spend a lot of money on my house. I spend more money on my house than I do on my vehicles because I spend more time in my house. So when I built our house, I put heated floors in there, but I don't have heated seats in a Silverado. I spend more time in the house, so I'd rather walk downstairs, off the stairs, and step on a nice warm floor than worry about a warm seat that I'm in 10-15 minutes when I'm driving around. So the only reason I like the mechanical 12 valves the mechanical 12 valves is because they're cheap. They're just cheap. They last forever. They're good on fuel and they're inexpensive to buy. So there's nothing wrong with the Duramax and the Power Strokes and the 24 valves and the 6.7s. Iron Duke, that's what it was. But when they break, they're really expensive. So I've done repairs on the one where the guy warped his heads, had the wet heads machine, the valves had to be done, the head gasket studs and injectors, and all of a sudden you're looking at $9,000. It's like I buy whole vehicles for $9,000 that I expect to get 150-200,000 kilometers out of, not a repair for $9,000. That, like, I'd fall over. I don't have $9,000 and just on reserve to pay for a repair. So if you want. Like the Duramaxes are fine, but at some point you're gonna have to fix it, and it's more expensive to fix than a 12 valve who ends up doing the same thing, but just a little slower, and that's all it is. So, I got an 87 6-banger Dakota with 114K, my daily for 6 years now. Nice little old square body there, nice little ride. I know lots of people that did that. I have a Colorado 05 two-wheel drive. What's your option on lifting a two-wheel drive? I don't even know. There's kits out there, I'm sure. The best thing for that is just hop on a forum. All this talk about Cummins and Duramax. What about Power Strokes? Well, I guess you're new to the channel. Welcome. Swap my Durango to a manual after blowing up 2 automatics. Yeah, that's the way it goes. So, gear vendors. I haven't had any experience with gear vendors, but they're about as good as it gets, I think. So, everyone complains that the 6.0 is unreliable motor, but I just paid $10,000 to replace the 5.0 in my F-150, and $10,000 is cheap to replace a 5.0 actually. So I don't know what you're saying. Are you saying that all 4s are junk, or like the 5.0 is much better than the 5.4? But the 6-liter had lots of. Here's the thing: there's lots of people that have good luck with the 6.0s and the 6.7s, but they don't come to my shop. I get the worst. I got the worst. At the last shop that I worked at, when we were working on the Power Strokes, it's always the broken ones that come into the shop. So we see the worst of the worst, and it's not that okay. There's this common problem, and that like, we'll address it, we'll fix it. There's just such a slew of problems with those things, dropping valves, head gaskets, the different sensors, the coolers, everything. So it's not like. Okay, well, we'll address the situation. We'll make it a good engine. Yeah, you can make them great bulletproofing, but you're going to spend $10,000 on it. I'm not that guy. So you're not new to the channel. I don't like Power Strokes. They're not fun to work on. And to me, when they change their platform every couple of years, there's something wrong, and we don't see the 6.7s. They're too new. So like I said in my other videos, I'm into the mid-2000s. That's coming rolling through the shop, and Power Strokes by far are the worst ones to work on and the most expensive to fix. So I get to be picky because I'm busy, and I just tell them to go away. So So, O1 Cummins with a fuel draw when sitting overnight. No visible leaks. Is there a check valve on the return? I don't think there is. I'm not sure, to tell you the truth, whether there is a check valve on there or not, but it doesn't hurt to put one in. So, who approved Aaron's vacation? His wife. You can talk to his wife. So. Best rear end gear ratio for power when pulling and decent mileage when not pulling. So 373 is kind of that good medium all around dual purpose. So that would be my recommendation. How do you fix rust? You cut it out and replace it. There is no fixing rust. Although if there's like surface rust, we got the molasses tank going right now. It's a good way to strip rust off. But the tank works pretty good actually. We've got the seat rails from the GTO in there right now, and the engine block. And I pulled them out today and made a video. But then I was in the shade and my video didn't work out, so I was gonna Instagram that. But anyway, so I really do like my 5.0 even after the BS of waiting 3 months for a new engine. But when I'm finished school next year, I'm buying a Cummins. So yeah. So, yeah, that sucks. 3 months just for an engine. Was that a Ford dealership or was that a shop like mine? LS Swap the World, end of car. Oh, okay, someone else's. Yeah. What's your advice on buying a diesel truck if you want a 97 F250 Power Stroke of 350 for the money? The F250 rides nicer. The F350 is gonna ride kind of hard. So 6BT and an E350. I don't know if they'll fit. It's going to be tight in there, but you probably have to move the doghouse back and maybe move the rad to the side or the roof. But 6BT and anything is a good idea if they can handle the weight. So, did you notice that the molasses had to kind of weaken the chrome on the Fleet Master parts? No, but I left some parts in there for like 6 months, and then it does start eating at the chrome. But I think only because it gets to the little pits in the chrome, gets underneath the chrome, and removes the rust and kind of starts eating at the steel, and then it knocked the thing off. But the Canadian Bubba, yeah, absolutely. A 1 to 10 mix of molasses. You stick it in a pail, put your parts inside, leave it a week, and it'll strip all the rust right off. So I did the entire car for the Studebaker Commander. I dipped the entire car, mainly because they put tar over the whole car, and I was going to do a pile of welding on it, and the molasses catches fire. So the molasses actually made the tar soft, and I hit it with a hot wash and knocked all the tar right off. So yeah. Yeah, Nova Scotia, you got the salt issues too. That's what sucks. 4BT, sensible horsepower from that motor, about between 2 and 250. Kenneth, if you want to look up Deboss Cummins. I think the first video shows me dipping that car. I grabbed an entire tote of molasses because my brother-in-law works at a feed mill. Oh, Commander. Sorry. That's why he's here and I'm tired. The Studebaker Commander. I had my service truck with a crane at that time, and I just dunked the whole car inside, let it sit for a while, and it actually looked like Coke after a bit with bubbles, and it was all the oxygen coming out of the steel. It was really cool. So, when's the Audi's next race? So we're going to, basically it'll be in June. I think, is Super Speeders putting on another
Super Speeders hasn't announced anything officially.
No.
But we're going to be at LS Fest East. I don't know if we'll be competing in anything, but we'll be there.
Yeah. But that's not until September, so there's stuff. Yeah. We'll be having our own races. We've got some friends with some fancy cars. We'll be taking them into the track, just taking whatever projects we got, kind of lining them up, and we'll be making our own videos. We'll be doing our half mile at the airport in Dunnville, and then we've got Toronto Motorsports Park where we can do some good quarter mile times and the track times. We'll be taking some McLarens and maybe Aventador there, and then we don't need to drag the car anywhere unless we're really, I think, just to prove to the project car challenge that we did build a decent car. So, but we need some time to figure it out, and we'll be doing that this summer. So, Big Daddy B, I'm still more confused than a fart in a fan factory about what I want to build. Cheaper and weight reduction in mind for a half-ton build 4BT, or yeah, do the 4BT. We were at the wreckers and we were just too busy. There was a running 5-cylinder Isuzu in a cab over. I don't know if it was I think it was a GM cab over, one of those little 1-800 got junk trucks, and we didn't have time to pull it out, and he ended up selling it to somebody else. But there's more options than the 4BT. The 4BT is loud and vibrates a lot, so it's up to you. But there's lots of good ideas for diesels out there, and we have that. The best one, go to the video, Cummins in a half-ton, because there's a lot of comments down there and guys that have had successful builds, and they'll tell you which engines were good and which ones they had which worked out successful and had good mileage and a decent power with the right the right amount of power and efficiency. So I'm glad that manifold bolt on the 5.4 worked for you. That's awesome. That's why we're here, to save you some money. The scavenge pump is going to be turned on by a pressure sensor on the oil feed line. So as soon as it sees oil pressure to the turbo feed, the scavenge pumps will come on automatically. And Holly's got some tricks up their sleeves too. So no problem, Kenneth. The Philanthropy, it's funny because we go down there, we do the work, but honestly it's more rewarding for us than what we're able to do there. And as much as we like to go down and make a huge difference to get something running and moving and fixing, at the end of the day, it's your change to be a better person, and so are them. They realize that a white person doesn't need to be in Burkina, and that we're taking our holidays and stuff away from time in laying on a beach in Cuba or Dominican or something, and the relationships and what it means to them is more important than something material that we fix. But while we're there, fixing the material stuff is a riot. It's a lot of fun. So it's great. Did you talk Finnegan into his Cummins swap on his ramp track? No, he watches the channel, I'm sure. He gets a lot of his motivation and inspiration from us. So we were going to meet up with Finnegan after the Project Car Challenge, and it just didn't end up working. We missed it probably by like 6 hours, which was too bad. I was thinking about that on my way here, whether I should just mail him that valve cover. Because I'm going to go to a 24 valve head eventually, so it's a whole different valve cover. So yeah, call Tuesday for a ZF6 transmission, Hayden, or hop on the Facebook group. Off the top of my head, I don't know where else to go right now.
Right now, the Holly stuff is, we don't have a code right now. No, kind of the relationship, like all of these sort of brand relationships, take a lot of time, and the Audi has to kind of do something before anything else happens with Holly, I think. Yeah. So they have to we have to spend the right amount of time on it, and it's right at that point where we're discussing over whether we're going to go full-time YouTube or not, just to make sure that and that just comes down to it. Somebody's got to pay the bills, right? So it's either customers. Aaron still has a full-time job. We're doing this all on the side. It's a lot of fun, but we do see the potential in it. So we'd like to go full-time and do our own projects, but we're going to have some sponsors sign on papers to guarantee that we have some money, right? Or Patreon. So we appreciate you guys, all your help for watching. We got to buy a new toy again. So that helps for Go for Dunes. And I help. It's not Aaron's this time. It's actually the channel. You see that? Nice DJ Mac. Oh.
So we got another drone. We'll have some nice shots. It's the stuff that the Patreon and stuff that allows us to do things like that. But yeah, it's not cheap. So if we're talking to some more companies right now, because Patreon is a slow go, but then we can do a lot better job at making the videos. So the time it takes for me to set up the videos, I don't bill the customers for that. And somebody said, oh, if you were a better mechanic or something, you could just work faster or something like that. I'm like, oh, if I was smart and I wanted to work hard, I could make more money not with the YouTube channel, because you focus more on the job and you go through it. Now we're taking multiple shots, doing the same thing, talking about them, making sure that the angles work and whatever else. And as much as fun as Go for Dunes and stuff is, it's another day away from the family. We all have families actually, so I'm easy going that way. I definitely love going to Go for Dunes and having fun, but I'm just as happy pushing my girls on the swing too, and that's just as fulfilling of a day to me as it is going to Go for Dunes. So if the YouTube was to disappear, I'd be okay with that, just pushing back. If it takes off really well, I'm okay with that too, but it's got to have its rewards both ways, right? So you need an intake and a carb. Well, we need a EFI carb for the GTOs, so I hit him up with that, but I haven't got a response yet, so I don't know. Like we said, the Audi has to do something first. So I don't wear gloves when I work, because the latex gloves, no matter what, my hands turn white in about 2 minutes. They rip almost right away. I don't work on nice stuff, and I'm kind of a sweater. I sweat a lot, so as soon as I put those gloves on, it makes my hands feel awful. So I don't wear gloves. That's just one of those things. So, we don't listen to the naysayers. I understand. There's always trolls and there's always people that know more than us and know better than us. We appreciate the comments that help us out in a constructive way when we do something wrong. But I probably could work on that, to just not comment to the guys who are negative, because they do kind of stick out to me, and I got to be a bigger guy than that and just let it go. But so if the swap isn't on the channel, I haven't done that, if that explains it, because I haven't swapped anything. Oh, except for we did the versatile Cummins swap, which was before the channel, but we ended up putting that on the channel anyway. So if the swap isn't on the channel, I haven't done it. So there's no, look it up. Perkins Deboss swap. If nothing comes up, I haven't done it. So.
And that's kind of what the motivation for going full time is like, the more we can kind of sort of fund these fun builds and sort of just experimental stuff, that kind of increases sort of the range, and we're not relying on customers that supply projects to do, and then relying on sort of what's popular on YouTube as far as directing what we're going to focus on. We can kind of get into more interesting oddball sort of stuff.
Right. And with the construction background and that, we have a lot to offer. I'm out of the construction a little bit, but if I'd be just as happy to sell our house. Like, basically the channel started about 7 years too late, because if we did the entire build on the house, like, you guys have a right. The way I went about it is a lot different than most people. And it was a great build. ICF basement. I poured the concrete. I did every piece of stitches, every nail in there is from me. Heated floors, Cat 5 running everywhere. But then at the same time, we kind of want to keep the family life a little bit private and keep it off of the channel. But if we were to build somebody else's house or whatever, I'm not just a mechanic either. So I've got a lot of other skills that I do chainsaw carving. I've done a few dozen bears and dolphins and eagles, and eventually I'd like to do another carving. So right now it's kind of limited to the mechanic side because that's what we do for a living, and then the family stuff stay private. But even the pond out front, now that I got the girls, I kind of want to put up just like a rickety structure of say a castle or something in the front lawn, and then when it's -20 out, grab a sprinkler and just make a nice ice castle out of it, and enjoy that with the girls, right? Take you guys along for the ride on that, and just fill a cube up with ice. When we do the chainsaw carvings, I'm limited to an 18-inch or a 2-foot tree that I got to carve something out of. But I'd like to try an ice sculpture one time and fill up a tote or something, take the tote off and have a big cube of ice, and then carve something out of that, right? But I can't do that because nobody pays for that. So the 454, we said that in the beginning of the channel, the one piston was cracked into 4 pieces and the one cylinder's all scored. So I got another engine that's actually in the shop right now. It only has 30,000 kilometers on it supposedly. So we're gonna pull the pan on it, make sure that it's a 4-bolt because it's out of a motorhome, and those had anywhere between like 200 and 330 horse. So we're gonna see what kind of horsepower it is, do a compression test on it. We're gonna feed the oil galleries with oil first before we turn it over, and then pull a main bearing and a rod bearing. We'll plastic gauge those, make sure what kind of bearings they're in, and then it's going back into the 454. So we ever see Deboss versus Welder Up? We met the Welder Up guys, and actually Proper Productions, that does Canada's Worst Driver, is also the production crew that does Welder Up. So a production crew out of Toronto actually does Welder Up in Vegas, which is stupid because we had a production company out of California ask us to, they wanted to come to the shop and do a show last year. We turned them down. But it's like, well, why don't you guys do Vegas Rat Rods? Why don't the crew that lives in Toronto videotape us? But that's right now we're not going to do a versus because if you've ever watched when Roadkill took on Fast and Loud, they weren't too thrilled with the reality TV aspect of it. So it's not worth building a 383 stroker anymore. You can get all of it out of an LS with a turbo for about 1/3 of the cost. So what type of waterproofing for the basement? When I sprayed the when I did the basement, it was the ICFs. I sprayed a rubber membrane around it and then had the that bubble wrap, I even forget what it was called, put around the outside. So Xmod driver just left a message on the GTO. Hopefully it's constructive. Was that are you the guy that has my driver's glass rail that I need from you? I gotta go hunt that guy again too. So Vegas Rat Rods versus Up North Diesel. So yeah, I know he likes his common stuff, but I think we've got some issues with like if you notice, I've never actually seen his, what was that, the Roadrunner that he built with a supercharged turbo, a 5-liter Dodge Cummins in there. It never goes above idle and it never goes out of a crawl. So it's cool. It just doesn't work. So So how's it going, Connor? And any performance ideas for the C10 Duramax? Well, we had a company reach out to us, and they were full of performance parts. So we asked them if they wanted to be involved, and then they just never emailed us back. They contact us, they ask us what we want, we tell them what they want, and they don't email us back. So I don't know what that's about. But anyway, I'd love to put compounds on that and stud it and rebuild it and do everything that we possibly can to that. But again, somebody's got to pay for it. So right now we have the frame, we have the truck, we have the tow truck, we have the engine, we have the transmission. I'll probably grab an interior from one of the trucks out of Tuesday's yard. So we have those pieces, so it's not going to be that expensive of a build. But if we start modding it, then it's going to get expensive. So it depends where we are with the YouTube channel when we get there. So right now, every 6 months or so, we're doubling views, income, and subscribers. So if that keeps up, then hopefully next year we'll be able to do some stuff. And even if we get it running and moving and kind of doing what we're aiming for it to do right now, we can always mod it with Patreon support as we go. It's just now it's kind of easier because the truck's not around it, right? So you should take a beater truck and try to show up zip ties and bias plies. He's a great guy, but we're not trying to be him, just like we're not trying to be AVE. If we were all the same, then you guys would all get bored. Watch zip ties for his stuff, watch AVE for his stuff, and watch us for our stuff. That's kind of my best thing. I don't watch a whole lot of YouTube, and I don't want to be like anybody else, just because we are who we are. If you don't like it, go watch them. If you like us, watch what we have to offer, I guess. I don't know. What do you think?
I think they just want to see a collab.
Oh, we'd love to do a collab, but I'm not gonna try and outdo him or he's great, he's funny. It's but he's got the weather to do his cold starts and stuff. We had a long winter, but it wasn't necessarily a cold winter. The mosquitoes were out today, and I found 3 ticks on the cat already. So outdoor power too. I got a 0273. Continue rocking my clapped out Santa Fe with a 2.7. Sure. Should I get a 2002? Yeah, you should. That's a decent engine. But I'd still drive the Santa Fe as long as I possibly can. Just like my wife, that Silverado or that Saturn's got 375,000 kilometers on it now. So anyway, what do you think?
That's good.
Yeah, if you guys have any Captain Flubber, you missed the party. It's too late, buddy. It's over.
If you guys are in Ontario, if you're in this area, come to Gopher Dunes. That's where we're going to be next. And also sometimes we're going to be posting up on our calendar. If you go to debossgarage.com, all of the events that are coming up that we're planning on being there, I'm putting in as we get confirmation. So there's going to be some meetups, especially with Ozzy at his shop in Port Colborne. So that's happening multiple times through the summer. We're going to try to make it out to some of their car nights. So that's kind of what's going on.
And again, we're going to Bowling Green, Kentucky between the 14th and probably the 22nd. If you guys, we've got some time to kill right in that weekend from the 16th to the 20th, I think. So we'll probably head farther south from Kentucky. If you guys are within 5 hours driving of Bowling Green, Kentucky, and you have access to some pickup truck boxes, cabs, fenders, doors that are rust free, but are selling or going to get scrapped, whatever, we hit us up at debossgarage@gmail.com. We'd love to see if we can work something out, picking up some stuff that we can resell here. That way we can bring some income in, make some good videos. If you guys have a place for us to stay anywhere, let us know. We'd love to crash in a granny suite or a little apartment or cottage or something. If that's rentable, we prefer that over a hotel all the time, even though Stefan loves his breakfast there. But anyway, I think that's it. We're gonna duck out. I'm gonna try to come go for dunes. Good times. Pick up a new vet. Pick up mean steel. Yeah. All right. Thanks guys for watching.
Yeah. Thanks.
Here we go.